In today's video, we're going to talk about dual key properties in the Brisbane region. So, right behind me is a dual key that I've just purchased, or we're just settling on. We're doing the pre-settlement today up here in Mango Hill. So I'm going to cover off the types of layouts that I've been buying for my investor clients, and also the locations where you want to be looking when you're looking to buy a dual key property in the Brisbane region. So first, to really kick it off, we want to start to talk about the layouts. So when you're looking at dual keys across Brisbane, Ipswich, Logan and the Moreton Bay area, you want to really focus on, so one side's going to have either 3-bed or 2-bed, and then on the secondary side you really want it to have 2 bedrooms, because that's going to give you the lever to get the extra rent when you really want to prop up the rents, because that's why you're buying these things, for the cash flow. So you'll find that a lot of them will have 1 bedrooms on the other side, and when we're researching we really skim past all of those ones. There was a ton that were actually off market, but we bought this one before it went online, so it was a pre-market. So we just moved super quickly, brought it before the first open home. So obviously speed's your best friend, but where I'm going with this, you know, you really want to focus on the dual keys that have a 2-bedroom on one side, and then it can have a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom on the other side. But what you'll most likely find is there'll be 3 bedrooms, 2 baths on one side, and then there'll be a 2-bedroom, 1 bath on the other side, like what we've got behind us. When you're thinking about the rents, when you get that particular style, you're able to then push them just that little bit extra, where you can get 600 for one side, and then you can, because you've got a 2-bedroom on the other side, you could push that to 400 to 450. So, you know, all in total, you're bringing in about 1,000 to 1,050 per week, which is extreme cash flow. You know, you don't really get many houses where you can get that $1,000 per week. Purchase prices these days, you know, they are sitting at about $1 million. And that's where I want to go into location quickly. So when you're thinking of locations, you're thinking of Logan, Ipswich and the Moreton Bay area. And the reason why I didn't go for the Park Ridges and the Brisbane Plains areas is because I could get this one here. We got this for $980,000 in a suburb called Mango Hill on the north side, which is right next to North Lakes, Griffin. It's got right next to the gateway. It's got all the existing infrastructure, and when you zoom into the actual suburb itself, 4-bedroom, 2 baths, you can see them selling for $1 million. But if you go to Park Ridge and you go spend $1 million in Park Ridge, 4-bed, 2 baths are at $800 per week. So that's from a value point of view. Like, properties just sell for a lot more up here, so you're going to spend the same amount, get into a more premium suburb. But when you're actually looking at the data up here, you can see incomes upwards of $2,000 per week. When you get to like say Park Ridge and you get to Brisbane Plains, incomes drop to $1,500, which isn't bad. It's not like your Woodridge where it's $1,000 per week, but you can get into a much premium suburb. So if you're going to spend the same amount of money, you're better off going to a better suburb. So these are the levers you want to start to pull on to get a better outcome for yourself, because you can spend $1 million and get a worse layout, as I mentioned, with a 1-bedroom on one side and 3-bedroom on the other side, and then to top it off you can go to a worse suburb, you know, and then it all just compounds, and it's not really an optimal investment property. So we're just trying to, we already know that we're going to be spending over $1 million. We just want to really optimize on the layout, and then secondly we want to optimize on the location, and then thirdly you want to move quickly by finding off-market and pre-markets and optimize with the purchase. So to go back around locations, I'm really liking the Kalangas up on the north side of Brisbane, Dackenbin, Griffin, Mango Hill and North Lakes. Across those areas you can still buy a dual key for around $1 million. But if you go to Park Ridge, you're going to pay $1 million. If you go to Brisbane Plains, you're going to pay $1 million. So, you know, if you just be a bit more strategic, make your way up to the north side, you're going to get into a much better suburb. And to really top it off, like these suburbs, you actually get a higher rent return. So you get an extra $30, $40 per week for the exact same room. So you'd be stupid to go down and spend $1 million at Park Ridge when you could just get it up here for $1 million, and then you get a better rent return. So layout to get started, then we're talking about suburbs. And then now finally, we want to talk about the purchase. So with these dual keys that are on fire right now, you'll find once they go online, agents are propping up the prices. They're putting $1.1 million. They're fishing for these new prices. So don't get caught up in the hype. Run your numbers, you know, be astute to what's happening in the market, because it is moving in an upwards trend, but don't get caught out and spending $1 million on not the right layout or not the right suburb, and just getting caught out because what the sales agent is talking about over the phone. Do your homework. If you do a little bit more leg room around like calling agents and emailing agents, that's how you will find these ones, like this pre-market. Like, I don't have a massive relationship with the agent that sold it. I just kept on calling them every week. And over the span of 6 to 7 weeks of looking for this client and hounding this agent, he said, hey, look, I've got an opportunity for you. It's coming up next week. And then he gave me the information and we got it already. And I already had him an offer before it went online. He's not screaming to sell it off market. It's just we were so prepared. We had everything there that the seller really just took our offer because, you know, he didn't want to disturb the tenants. And it just was a more smoother transition. So it's not about having really strong relationships. You know, I wanted to share that. Like, I do have really strong relationships with real estate agents, but also being persistent and calling the agent and giving them the respect, you'll actually find these incredible deals. Like this one's $980,000. Like, it's very good value because people are spending $1 million plus in suburbs that are way worse. So the client's going to benefit. You know, right behind the camera, there's like a whole new development going in, and all these brand new 4-bedroom 2-baths that are going to come through. They're going to be selling for way more than $1 million, and that's just going to drive the price up of this asset that he's got there. So he's going to get the capital growth, but along the way, he's going to get $1,000, $1,050 per week rent. As the vacancies drop, the rents are going to rise over time, and it's going to be giving them really strong cash flow and capital growth. When we're looking at the dual keys, we really don't want to get one that's too old. Most of them are new anyway, so you don't have to worry about that. The one behind us, it's about 5 years old. Immaculate condition. Like the same tenants have been there since it's been built, and I've just looked after it. You'll find as you get to Ipswich and Logan, some of them have been roughed up. I've brought a lot of dual keys. Don't let that scare you. Just be, you know, methodical when you go through. You're like, okay, cool, I'm gonna spend, you know, $7,000 on getting it painted and so forth. But you know, he got some incredible tenants behind us. It's all ready to go. We're settling today and it'll just settle. So that wraps up my video. You know, if you're looking for a dual key, just remember, we're looking at layout, we're looking at location, and we're looking at being savvy with finding a really good deal. I hope you got some value from this, and thank you for watching.